Dr. Fromer, let me
Good
just
evening.
check with
There
our.
we go.
All right, NTT, are we ready? Thumbs up? Okay. Thank you, Dr.
Commissioners, good evening.
Evening.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Let's call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. on December 9th, 2025. We have public open time. Our first item is public open time. This is an opportunity for members of the public to speak on items that are not on today's agenda. Speakers will have 2 minutes each. We have a timer. I ask you to adhere to that. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak at this time? Thank you.
I got to speak with you, Robbie Powelson. I submitted a complaint today that I've submitted to the sheriff's office regarding Deputy Michael Thompson. Right now, Binford Road is an encampment that is operated by the County of Marin under an ERF grant. The county's been providing services, case management, bathroom services to people there for years. Mr. Durning has lived there for 3 years. Working towards housing, working with services. He has a permit, environmental permit that allows him to get septic being taken out, on a bi-weekly basis by the county. Last week, Deputy Thompson posted a notice enforcing an expired registration ordinance and a parking over 72 hours. Now, there's 31 motorhomes out there on Binford Road. 28 have expired registration. Deputy Thompson selected this one individual to be evicted. The pretext that Deputy Thompson gave was that Mr. Durning's site was not clean enough. And there's no, if you look at the pictures that I put in the notice, Mr. Durning's site is fairly clean. It's not blocking any roadways. He's worked with the county in the past on they brought out mental health specialists to work on hoarding issues. His site has actually made a lot of progress. So to me, it makes absolutely no sense how Deputy Thompson can have this amount of discretion to just, rip this man's life apart because he's going to it's a non-operative motorhome. We can't move it. He's going to lose it, right? And he's going to have nowhere to go in the middle of winter. And he can't go into a shelter because he has a staph infection on his head, massive cysts. That's outlined in a lawsuit that he recently filed, and there's going to be hearing on Tuesday. And the county's postponed until Tuesday. I'd ask this commission make an emergency motion for a hearing on this before that hearing, and have Thompson come in and talk and communicate about what's going on.
We appreciate your comment, and we have the information. Many of us just received it, so thank you, Robbie.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Saris. I want to bring to the commission's attention concerning enforcement action taken by Deputy Sheriff Michael Thompson against Binford Road RV resident Sean Durning, and to ask that this commission receive this matter as a civilian complaint. Mr. Durning was issued a notice to vacate and tow his vehicle for allegedly violating the 72-hour parking ordinance and lacking current registration. His RV is inoperable and is his home. Towing it would immediately displace him. More importantly, the enforcement directly contradicts the Marin County's stated decision not to enforce the 72-hour parking ordinance in the county-sanctioned safe parking area on Binford Road to prevent displacement while housing efforts are underway. Singling out Mr. Durning raises serious concerns about selective enforcement and inconsistency with county policy. It undermines public trust and threatens the county's progress in stabilizing and housing people living in vehicles, particularly those who are most vulnerable. Mr. Durning is in poor physical health and experienced significant mental health challenges, including PTSD. I recognize that the Civilian Oversight Commission is in its startup phase and working toward hiring an inspector general. However, this adopted work plan allows flexibility, and civilian oversight should not be delayed. I respectfully ask the commission to formally receive and log this complaint and to exercise its authority to request information and assess whether an investigation is warranted, regardless of whether an inspector general is currently in place. Establishing this practice now will allow the commission to track patterns and be ready to act fully once investigations formally commence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't let this guy get home safe.
Any other public comment?
Here, giving you. Someone else in the county of Marin, in this county, not government, but who lives in this county, noticed many cars driving in the county of Marin without front license plates. This is written by a UC Berkeley professor. Okay, many white, wealthy motorists driving and not being stopped. Now I get to the instance in Marin City. A black man, middle-aged man, was pulled over. He contacted me. I contacted the sheriff. They said, give me the information, time, date, and when it happened. I contacted the sheriff. I told him. The troubling part is they couldn't find the stop because the officer stopped the gentleman with the siren, pulled him over, asked for his information, harassed him, but he didn't call it in. That's what's even more fascinating. Harassing black men, undetected stops for something that white folks are doing all around this county by the thousands daily. So the stop was undetected. And the officer told me, the commanding officer told me, this is not correct. This should not be happening. And I hope he promised me it won't happen again, the undetected stop. Now, are they stopping black men for no license plate still? I don't know. What I ask from you is when you collect this data to ask about pretext stops. Ask for data that includes pretext stops. That will help us get to the bottom of this. Chances are they won't fix it themselves. One more thing. I forgot what I was going to say. But yes, undetected stops. This is a serious issue because they harass black men. It's a segue to further harass black men. Thank you. Someone else is paying attention.
Thank you, Damon. Any other comments? I want to thank you. Online.
Yes, Madam President, there is one speaker in the queue. Eva, please unmute.
Thanks. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to try to get some information from the commission about why they made the decision to, consult with NACOL, which was the organization that deliberately erased meeting recordings during the Oversight Working Group process. And it's, it really raises the question of why you would work with someone. You're supposed to be an oversight group. And in that sense, you should want to obviously honor the whole point of transcripts, recordings, any sorts of documents related to process. When you're working with the group that deliberately deleted the meeting recordings, and per Jamila Jordan's email, they did it at her request. There were 12 meetings of the working group. NACOL deleted 8 of them is because they simply needed the disk space. It's an absurd, given how much money they were paid, that's an absurd claim. So I would like to know what level of work NACOL is providing, what level of consulting is, what is the process here? I know they've been involved with civilian oversight in Sonoma, which has turned out to be a complete disaster, predictably, because the point of oversight isn't what it claims. It's really just a distraction from the responsibility of the district attorney and the and the Board of Supervisors to exercise their powers. It's a toothless proposition. It routinely fails.
Thank you, Eva, for sharing your
and
concerns. We
then
appreciate
everybody
you. Thank
says,
you. Eva, thank you very much. We noted your comments for the record. Thank you. Any other public comment on Zoom?
Madam President, there are no more speakers in the queue.
Thank you. We have another comment. Hi.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, traffic on my way home, and tried to eat and get here as fast as I could. I know you all can relate. I wanted to talk about two things. One of the things was you all received a memo, I think 2 meetings ago, talking about the SCAP program, which is kind of offensively named the State Alien Assistance Program. And it was about our sheriff accepting federal money by giving names of people who are undocumented in custody to receive reimbursement. I understand that there was a lot of talk about this at the board meeting this morning, and your commission was mentioned as a group that might handle it. So as a county that loves and wants to protect our immigrant families, our immigrant neighbors, I think it's really important to think about the danger that we're putting them in by sharing their names, addresses, and all their information with Department of Homeland Security. And secondly, I wanted to bring your attention to a promise that the board made around the unhoused community out at Bimford in Novato, that folks living in their vehicles would be safe until there was a place for them to go. If you've all been out there, there are people who are living in their cars, and in RVs and other motor vehicles. And one of the residents received an eviction notice that goes against what the board did from the sheriff's department, which is why we're here tonight to ask you to please try to do something about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All right, I'm going to close out. See that there's no additional speakers. I'd like to close public open time now and move to item number 3 on the agenda, approval of the draft minutes of November 17th, 2025. Have you guys had a chance to review the minutes? Any questions on the items on the agenda? In our minutes? Okay, since there are no questions, I'd like to open up for public comment on this item. Speaker will have 2 minutes, and I would like you, this is regarding the approval of the draft minutes. So 2 minutes, please. Anyone? All right, anybody online?
The first speaker is Eva. Please unmute.
Thanks. I just like to that at some point the minutes should have reflected what happened in the first meeting minutes, and I'm not really sure why you're asking for comment from the public. If you during the first meeting, one of the working group members, former deputy sheriff, were married to the assistant sheriff of Sonoma County, and that was never reflected in the meeting minutes. But it's actually really important, and that meeting was not recorded, so there's no record of it whatsoever. You disappeared it from the meeting minutes, and it's totally inappropriate. So I would like to know when you were going to amend that. The person who was on the working group, and there were many conflicts of interest on the working group, which set up, the weak commission body that this is, the structure of it. There were a lot of conflicts of interest, and just getting that one conflict of interest actually admitted. Actually, there were two people who admitted their conflicts
is
of
off
interest during
topic.
that first
Sarah.
meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, and-
Eva,
and
this
so-
is about the minutes of the meeting, and I know you're talking about the minutes, and you're noting something that is not in the minutes. So this is about the minutes, Stephen. Is there anything else you want to note? I think your time is up, but we are.
Yes, I would like an explanation. I would like an explanation of the attendance here. Are some of the commission members
We're going
attending
to move on
remotely, or
because
some
you've
people
had
simply
your
not?
time and we've noted what you've noted. And we're going to go into discussion right now. So if there's anybody else from the public online or in the audience, we can go ahead and move on to the next question. Okay. We're going to go into discussion right now.
For the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's no more, we're going to close out this comment, close out to the public, and go into discussion with the commission on the item, which needs approval. So, commissioners, any comments?
I do.
Yes, Sarah?
I would just ask that, when things are voted on, it's whether somebody, approves it or doesn't approve it. I would ask that that specifically is noted, like what commissioners approved one thing or versus another.
Thank you. That would require a roll call vote for each motion. So that's my request.
Okay.
If you would like to have that, we would need to do it in a roll call fashion so that staff could note it appropriately.
Okay.
So,
Let's get it done.
All right. Any other comments, commissioners, on the minutes? You want to take a roll call vote?
I'd move approval.
I second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I abstain because I wasn't here.
Okay, any abstentions? You
Okay.
got one
That'd be-
abstention? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Sarah, that is noted, what you said too. All right, we're going to move on to item number 4, consider a rescheduling of January 12th commission meeting. I'll invite staff to briefly summarize the issue.
all right, thank you. If I could please have the PowerPoint presentation, please. We're going to go forward a slide and one more. All right. Good evening, Chair and Commission. Good evening. I would like to present to you about the agenda item number 4, which is the background on the board chambers renovation and the plan for moving forward with rescheduling, potential rescheduling of the meeting. So there's renovations scheduled for this room in January and February of 2026. So the Board of Supervisors will be moving over to the Showcase Theater during this time. And so I have researched a number of different locations that we could potentially use. And I found that the Showcase Theater is the one that I wanted to recommend to your commission. And I made that recommendation to the chair and vice chair as well. And they were in agreement about that. So that's what's presented to you tonight, is to have the meeting in January at the Showcase Theater. The only dates that they really have available that aren't like on a Friday night are January 21 or January 22nd. And so that's what's presented to you tonight. If I could ask you to please go forward on a slide. And so the recommendation for you tonight is to approve rescheduling the January 12th, 2026 commission meeting to January 21 or January 22nd. There is the alternative of not changing the meeting date. It's detailed in your staff report. That would mean using some of the rooms that we have available, that some of them do not have a Zoom capability. Some of them are rather small. So that's the item that's before you tonight, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Are you recommending there were 3 places there on the board, which are gone now? Were you recommending that we use one of those 3 or stay within the facility here?
I'm recommending Showcase Theater.
Is that in the building?
It is just past the VMA, which is the Veterans Memorial Auditorium.
Oh,
It's just on the other side. It is a very large theater.
That's not-
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that is the location that the Board of Supervisors will be moving. They're going to be setting up all of the same kind of infrastructure here for teleconferencing of the meetings. And so that is the recommendations that we follow with the board. And then when it's time to come back, potentially in March, maybe in April, depending on how long the renovations go, we follow, we follow the board back.
Do they have parking?
Yes, lots of parking.
Yes. Doug.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so if we do it on the 21st, 22nd, we can get it zoomed.
Yes,
Okay.
at this time, that's the,
I cannot do the 21st and 22nd.
so, yeah, I'm happy to answer questions at this time.
So if we keep it on the 12th, we can just move it to over there?
No, it's not available on the 12th.
Oh,
It is available for our meeting date in February and our regular scheduled meeting date in March. It's just January had the one conflict. So that's why we're bringing it to you to consider changing the date.
and the 20th and the 21st are the only other days?
The 21st and the 22nd.
Oh, the 21st.
Yes.
Okay, I can't.
Okay. Commissioners, let's look at the 22nd. How do you guys think about the 22nd?
Madam Chair, we
Yeah.
might want to close
Oh,
out
right,
questions
right,
and go to
right,
public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this?
No.
Okay. Let me open it up for public comment and speakers have 2 minutes. Robbie.
Yeah, thank you. Again, I would just like to propose that since you're talking about scheduling, schedule a meeting this week to talk about what Deputy Thompson's doing, have Deputy Thompson, ask him to come in. Now's a good time to schedule it. It's already on the agenda. And I think if you look, it's worth a look because right now, as is laid out in that complaint, you know, there's a big disconnect between the policies of the county, the actions of Thompson, and it needs to be fleshed out. You know, and this is a man's life that's in jeopardy. You know, the man who loses his home, everything he owns, without an opportunity to appeal the decision that Thompson made. Right?
Robbie, we're looking at a date in January and you're talking about a date
Well,
tomorrow.
I think you're talking about scheduling.
No, I know, but we.
Talking about scheduling, and I
Right,
think
right.
I think you're within.
Somewhat slanted appropriate, but.
And I think I say, you know, move the January 12th meeting to, you know, what is it?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
Thank you very much.
I'm serious.
No, we hear you.
Thank
Believe me, we hear you. Thank you so much.
Please.
All right, any other public comment on our date, 21st or 22nd?
On scheduling. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
That made me think, we're talking about practice. So we're talking about scheduling. Some of us go to San Rafael's Police Advisory and Accountability Committee meeting, which is on that 21st date. So I hope you will
Thank you.
take that into consideration when picking and lean toward the 22nd, unless you want to keep the regularly scheduled one and smush in somewhere else.
Good to know. Thank you.
And also, I agree, bring Deputy Thompson in and hold him accountable.
Thank you. Anyone on Zoom? Anyone else in the audience?
Madam President, there are no speakers in the queue.
All right, thank you. If there's no more public comment on the item, we're going to close the item out. And commissioners, we need a motion either for the 21st or 22nd. I vote for the 22nd because I'm actually available that night. But if you have your calendars, if you could take a moment and look.
I'm also available 22nd.
Yeah, I'm good with the 22nd.
You can do it?
Yeah.
I'm available the 22nd.
Okay.
I'm available on the 22nd.
I'm not available on the 22nd. I'm only available on the 21st, but I can maybe rearrange things
Okay.
if that's the only one that other people can do.
Looks like the majority of us can do the 22nd. You can make it. All right, we're going to take a motion for January 22nd.
I make
Sarah?
a motion to move our January meeting from the 12th to the 22nd
And over into the showcase there.
and over into the showcase area theater.
I second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to move it to the 22nd at the Showcase Theater. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? The opposed is noted. Thank you. Motion carries. This on gonna be on the 20th? Yes.
Are we still allowed to have discussion about,
No, we'll be on that at this, we've already done it.
about
We already
another
done it.
meeting that we can,
That's not agendized, so we'll talk about it. We have a chance to talk.
okay.
We can ask Stephen how we do that as well. Motion carries, everyone. So our meeting is on January 22nd, 6 PM at the Showcase. Thank you. We're moving to item number 5, consider the revised draft ordinance of alternatives related to a potential name change. I don't want to touch this with a cat prod, but I'm going to, we are in consideration of the revised draft ordinance and alternatives to a related potential name change for the Civilian Oversight Commission. I'll invite Deputy County Executive Walsh to present the staff report on this. And what are alternatives?
Thank you, Dr. Frommer. May I please have the slide presentation up? And can you move on to the next slide, please? Okay, so for tonight's item number 5, I just wanted to kick us off just reviewing our policy framework, which was in your staff report, but I just want to highlight a couple of key things. So as you know, your commission was voted into creation on November 5th, 2024, with the adoption of the ordinance 3824. And there's a couple of things that are very clear in the ordinance about the role of the Civilian Oversight Commission. One of them is assisting in the oversight of the Marin County Sheriff's Office. Another one is to provide the public an opportunity to directly participate in the oversight process of the Sheriff's Office. Next slide, please. The Commission's purpose is to initiate, build, and maintain a trusting relationship between members of the public and the Sheriff's Office through transparent, respectful, just, and accountable oversight that is rooted in public safety, justice, and accountability. The Civilian Oversight Commission will work in collaboration with the Sheriff's Office, the Office of the Inspector General, to fulfill this purpose. Next slide, please. So a little bit of background. This came to you in October of 2025. And at that meeting, your commission reviewed the background and process for a potential name change. There was a discussion at that time. There was some supporting viewpoints and then some counterpoints as well. The supporting viewpoints said that this improved clarity, changing the name improved public understanding, and clearly links the commission to the Sheriff's Office. And some of the counterpoints that were mentioned was that the current name was sufficient, that she preferred to focus, or that you preferred to focus on substantive work plan tasks, and that it would potentially trigger meet and confer requirements. So the outcome of that meeting was that the commission voted 5-2. We had a few members out to recommend changing the name, and the new name that was selected was the Civilian Oversight Commission over the Marin County Sheriff's Office. Next slide, please. So after that meeting, the staff has drafted the ordinance based on the commission's October recommendation. And so for consideration for you tonight is that draft. It amends Chapter 2.37 of the Marin County Municipal Code to formally change the commission's name to the Civilian Oversight Commission over the Marin County Sheriff's Office, and replaces the prior name throughout the chapter. In the staff report, I also provided a couple of alternatives that instead of going through the process of updating the ordinance, essentially change or use an informal name through the bylaws, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. And then also an alternative of potentially revisiting the proposed name. Next slide, please. So the next steps, if the name change is approved, going the route of the ordinance, is a potential requirement to meet and confer with our labor partners, and then it would need to go and be considered by the Board of Supervisors. And then there are some fiscal and staffing impacts, which I went into in the staff report. Next slide, please. So I'm going to just very briefly talk about the alternatives. So one of the alternatives, as I mentioned, was to use the bylaws. The ad hoc subcommittee that's working on the bylaws have a draft in process. The commission may adopt an informal name for community outreach purposes. The bylaws would state the official name, but then it would also allow use for an informal name for outreach purposes. And the bylaws would be submitted to the board for approval. Next slide, please. Also, the alternative of revisiting the proposed name is before you, and that is something that you might consider, refining the proposed name to ensure it is clear and easily understood, and it accurately reflects the commission's role. You may workshop potential alternatives as a full group, or refer the topic potentially to the Community Outreach and Engagement Ad Hoc Subcommittee to develop options and return to recommend a name for consideration and approval at a full commission meeting. Next slide, please. So just to summarize, the recommendation before you tonight is to consider the revised draft ordinance and the two alternatives that are proposed related to the potential name change for the Civilian Oversight Commission. And I'm happy to take questions.
I have a question. Do I need to get?
Go ahead, Felicia.
Okay.
Commissioner.
What, Lynn, what would be the two alternative names?
So there's two alternative actions that you could take tonight. The one that was approved in October was to bring forward the ordinance, and we'll just call that the ordinance route, which would mean to take the name change via the ordinance back to the Board of Supervisors for their consideration. That would be the recommendation that was agreed upon at the October meeting. And then the other two alternatives that I've presented tonight is to do another route, which is to name an informal name of the commission in your bylaws, which would remain as the Civilian Oversight Commission, but in your marketing and outreach on your website and your newsletter, it could be a different name. And then the other alternative that's proposed to you tonight is to reconsider the name if you wanted to, in case there's any thoughts about a different name that you'd like to offer tonight. So those are the two alternatives, Commissioner Gaston, that are before you tonight.
Got it. We have Sarah.
Do we have to go to, I want to make a motion about this, but do we have to go to public open time first?
Yeah.
So I have to wait, or can I just jump the gun?
No.
No.
Can't jump the gun. Sarah.
I'm happy to take your questions.
This is for you to, if you have any questions.
Okay,
Lynn.
yeah, no, I was thinking, so we can, is this something that we can task the bylaws subcommittee with to, if they want to incorporate it in there?
It could be.
If we decide to do that?
Yes.
Is
that's
that
one of
naming the alternate route to do and just name it like?
Yeah,
whatever,
like
outreach.
also known as, yeah.
Yeah, it would be like an informal name, an AKA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we could use in marketing and on outreach.
You said that there were other commissions that do that because of the name, how long they are, and
Yeah,
it's
for
kinda-
example, Zero Waste Marin, we all have the tote bag, right, for Zero Waste Marin. Their official name is like the Marin County Hazardous Waste and Disposal Commission or something like that. Does not fit well on a mug. So they have an informal name that they use. Yeah.
Commissioner.
Yeah, so, Lynn, so for all intents and purposes, it's pretty simple. If we go the informal route, we can still, whatever we decide to call it, we just call it that for all public purposes. It's just, it saves us a lot of time and trouble
Mhm.
Yes.
with having to go through all the paperwork and et cetera. Could you remind us the current road we're on to go through the ordinance change? I mean, how long of a process is that? Just so everybody has a,
Yes, it really
do it.
depends. There's the potential for a meet and confer process with reopening the ordinance. And so that could take anywhere from a month to 3 months, or maybe even more.
right.
The original ordinance went through a meet and confer process that I believe went on for a few months.
Okay.
And so there's the time is up in the air. And then also just getting concurrence from the board to put it on their agenda, and then getting on the agenda, and then it would be 2 separate meetings. They have to be at least, I think, a week or 10 days apart
Okay.
to allow the public to comment. And then once it was adapted, then another 30 days before it comes effective.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
it's a considerable time.
So, and then the alternative, just to be very clear, is if we decide to go the route of informal, basically the bylaw subcommittee can help come up with the name. If we all decide everybody likes it or get assistance, whatever, but we come up with the name, we put it in the bylaws and we're done.
It would still need to be, so the bylaws subcommittee would bring that back to the full commission for adoption.
Yeah.
There's also bylaws and a code of conduct, which
Yes.
we haven't quite started yet on.
Yeah.
We have some ideas, but we're not quite there yet.
Right.
So they could go separately, but it's probably more time efficient if they go together to the
Okay.
full board, because they kind of go hand in hand.
Right.
So not the full board, the full commission, sorry, pardon my mistake there. So then once the commission approves it, then it needs to go to the Board of Supervisors for their review and approval, but it would only take one meeting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I don't know, do the bylaws go on consent usually? Or, sorry, just a quick question for,
It depends, but typically, yes.
so when an item goes on consent, that means there isn't a need for a presentation. It's just, adopted in one fell swoop with other business items, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have a question too.
Alicia, I have Commissioner
sorry.
McInerney.
Yes.
Do you have any, Lynn, do you have any insight into why the board named it what it did?
Yeah, so in the October staff report, I did a bit of detail on the name of the commission and the background behind the name. If I can just, off the top of my head, if I can remember it, there was quite a lot of outreach during that time. It was the Community Outreach Working Group, and they went out into the community and they talked with members of the community. They had a survey, they had focus groups, they had an entire report, and they were the ones that wrote the report to recommend the commission. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have to stop talking with my hands. They were the ones that recommended to the Board of Supervisors to form the commission and also to stand up an office of the Inspector General. And so it was through very deliberative processes that they came up with the name Civilian Oversight Commission. I was not there for those meetings. I don't know if you would like to talk about your recollection from that time, Stephen?
They did not include me in the process of the name, but they know that they discussed it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I think it was very carefully chosen. I remember hearing somebody liked it because it was simple and COC sounded cool, and it was a very straightforward way to name it. Yeah.
Was there any suggestion in the discussion that you're aware of that it was intended to de-emphasize the sheriff's department, or that there was not, they didn't want the commission to have rigorous oversight over the sheriff's department or anything like that?
No, I have no knowledge of that. No.
Any other questions, Commissioner Gaston?
Yes, so in the alternatives, when you say revisit the proposed name, because we are working on the community outreach and engagement for marketing purposes, I would like to recommend that we stay involved with this revisiting the name along with the bylaws committee. So is that, this one I'm recommending, that the outreach, community outreach and engagement ad hoc committee be engaged in this.
That is the recommendation in the staff report, that it could potentially go to a subcommittee for workshopping, and the community outreach and engagement subcommittee seems like the appropriate place, since they're talking about how to, communicate with the community about the commission and what we do,
Good idea.
what you do. Sorry.
So the question on the floor, Commissioner Gaston, is that this issue goes back to subcommittee, and then a recommendation for the name come out of that subcommittee.
Yes.
We need to go to public comment.
No more questions?
No more questions for Lynn. Do you have a question?
And then so if it went to subcommittee,
You're asking her that.
oh,
Hi.
so if it was workshopped out or what then if they came up with a name and they wanted it to go in the bylaws, that's how it would work?
The recommended name would come back to the full commission. So they would workshop it, maybe pick their top favorite one, maybe have a couple alternatives in the wing just in case, and then bring that back to the full commission for, concurrence. And then that could be put into the bylaws.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, my dear.
Since we're new to this and we haven't gotten a ton of feedback yet from the community, if they aren't sure of our purpose or if they're unable to find us or whatever, if we were to say a year down the line from now, decide that whatever name it is we pick is not actually accessible to the public, would it be significantly easier for us to then change an adopted name in the bylaws than it would be for us to again update the ordinance?
Yeah, so updating the bylaws would mean opening them up again, and then probably taking them back to committee to make that adjustment, and then bringing it back to the commission for approval. And then it would have to go back to the board, but it would only take one meeting, and it would be, the question about meet and confer is still up in the air, about any type of change, but,
Okay.
but yeah, it would be less of an impact if it went through the bylaws.
Okay.
It will still be in our hands. I feel like we've.
Then it would still be in our hands.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
not
yeah.
in
I feel like
budget.
that. Yeah.
And then I guess my follow-up question then is, if we were to give you this draft ordinance and say, yeah, let's proceed with it, the Board of Supervisors can decide they don't want to and vote no on it, correct?
They may decide,
If they,
yes.
Okay.
that they don't want.
Okay.
All right, let's go to public comment on this item. Thank you, commissioners.
Hello
Topic,
again.
the topic is.
The topic is changing the name.
Yes.
And so just a little bit of insight into the community outreach working group, which I was a member of. I don't think the name was a huge issue for us. We were more interested in the mechanisms of oversight that would give this commission the authority that it needed to do things that we heard from the community they wanted to do in partnership with the sheriff's office. We did think it was important that it said civilian or resident oversight, because like the San Rafael one says is police advisory and accountability committee, which sounds like it's a committee of police officers. So we didn't want it to sound like that. And hopefully you all can take that into account. If you do a quick Google search of oversight bodies, most of them don't. They're called like resident oversight committees or civilian oversight committees. They don't have the name. A lot of them don't have the name of the agency that they are providing oversight for. And I guess what I would say is my memory is the sheriff's office has two unions, the DSA, which has deputies and sergeants, and then a manager's union too. And our ordinance recommendations were tied up for a long time from my perspective on the working group with the union. So I would say to you, they can open up the whole, if they're in there for the name, they can also try to change other things, is my understanding. We can look to county council to confirm or deny that. But I think the bylaws would probably be a good way to go. And I also think that it makes sense while you're out doing community outreach to even maybe not do the bylaws right now and just do community outreach and ask people what they would like it called. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment in the chambers? If not, we'll go to online.
The first speaker is Stephen Bingham. Please unmute.
Hello. Can you
Hello.
all hear me?
Yes.
So, yeah, I appreciate the comments that Heidi mentioned just made. I would suggest if there's going to be taking this back for more discussion, that you consider something similar, whether it's a bylaw or ordinance change, similar to what's in front of you, which is badly worded. I would suggest that it be called a Commission for Civilian Oversight of the Marin County Sheriff's Office. I think that's simple and gets to the point. As for meet and confer, with all due respect to county council, who takes, I believe, a somewhat extreme view on meet and confer, but I cannot imagine anything in the change of the name that could possibly affect the wages, hours, and working conditions of members of the sheriff's department. And I would urge you to look at that and as you go forward to get perhaps more clarity on why county council thinks that simply a name change would require meet and confer. And Heidi is certainly right that the previous developing the whole ordinance took forever and ever and ever because of constant meet and confer and not being able to set times when people could meet. There'd be 2 or 3 months that went by with nothing happening. So you need to try to avoid that in this case. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Any other public comment online?
Yes, the next speaker is Eva. Please unmute.
Thank you. I just want to point out, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to point out what a clown show this is. I mean, you just heard from the first public comment was Heidi Merchant, who did serve on the working group with Stephen Bingham. And Stephen Bingham made the point that, well, you could name it this. Well, they were in 12 different meetings. 12 meetings of the working group, and they couldn't come up with the right name. Merchant's excuse is that, well, there's lots of other groups that, don't have the name of the policing authority in it. That is nonsensical. I also want to point out, this is typical of Merchant, where she gets up, she at least identified herself as having worked on the dysfunctional working group, but she did not identify. She still is not identifying on any recording that the severe conflicts of interest she had. And I want to point out that it is a serious failure to disclose that you are married to the assistant sheriff of Sonoma County when you are working on oversight and presenting yourself as somehow presenting
would
any
say that
sort
this
of
is
logical
off-topic
challenge.
and
All right,
disparaging.
I'll get back on topic, McInerney. Don't cut me off.
Are you?
This is Stephen Robb, Deputy County Counsel, that is saying that this is off-topic and disparaging.
Thank you, Stephen. Let's, Ava, when you get on, let's try to keep it on topic so we can really hear what you have to say about the topic. That'd be great. Any other public comment? I'm going to close out this item and we'll move on to the commission for discussion.
Oh.
There we go.
I think we have a lot going on, and to invest more time like talking about this and possibly going to the and doing all that, I think we should just task it to the bylaws subcommittee. And I think that we could, we don't have to, we could come up with like a cool name. Like it could be like it doesn't need to be the civilian. It doesn't need to be so formal. If we like include it in the bylaws, it could be something catchy like watch out. Or
Yeah, I think the whole point was I think people were upset that, it's sort of such a generic name. Nobody knew what we were doing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think Felicia and the committee that you're on, I think it would be great if you guys would take that under sort of a goal and come back with some proposals for us, and whatever the whole group here decides on, if it passes, we'll put it in the bylaws when our committee meets.
I agree with
Commissioner down there, any comments?
No, I agree words matter, and it matters that we call ourselves. I think when you Google us, you can tell what we do. It's clear. And I think that we should task it to the bylaws committee and move on to discussing other things.
I agree. So I think we need to take a vote
Yeah.
to make a motion to task it to the Community and Outreach Committee. And then once it comes back to the full commission, we will adopt it and the bylaws will adopt it, okay? All right, I need a motion on the floor.
I make a motion to, do we have to withdraw or make a motion to like redo our motion that we all voted on last time?
No.
Okay, so we can just move forward. Okay, I make a motion to task this to the community outreach subcommittee to get feedback from the community on what they would like to hear our commission be called, and then adopt it into the bylaws and not make it a formal change to the ordinance.
I second that.
Doug, you second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Yes, the motion carries. Where is my thing? Boom. I want my thing.
I know, it is Christmas.
Right. All right, yeah, we're getting some stuff done. I'm excited. All right, we're moving on to the ad hoc subcommittee reports. The commission will receive reports from the following 4 ad hoc subcommittees: Inspector General Hiring, Training Curriculum, Community Outreach and Engagement, and Bylaws and Code of Conduct. We're going to start with number 1, Inspector General Hiring. I invite each subcommittee representative to provide a report in turn. After each presentation, we'll ask the commissioner questions. Please save your comments until after public open time. I'm assuming we're going open time right now. Or do we go into discussion first?
First, we will do the reports, and then.
Got
So
it.
it's, 4 reports that each report is followed by commissioner questions. And then once all report, question, report, question,
Got it,
4 times, then public open time.
Okay. All right, let's see how we doing with the IG.
Okay, it's exciting. Things are moving. Okay, so the hiring subcommittee met twice, I think, since the last time we met. Am I getting that wrong? Just once? We met, I think, twice. Okay, multiple things. The IG posting went live. It closed on Sunday. So we have gotten applicants. The posting is closed, or last I heard it was supposed to close Sunday. I'm assuming that actually happened. Correct me if I'm wrong, Deputy Walsh. We discussed in our meetings more ongoing details about the interviews for the candidates. So like we've talked about before, there's going to be 2 panel interviews for the candidates when it comes time. Those are going to take place in January. It's going to be a full day, so both panels will be meeting consecutively at the same time in different spaces. One of them is going to be like a community panel that we are taking from commissioners if you have recommendations for people to be on that panel. A couple of you reached out with recommendations, so thank you. But if you have other recommendations for community members who should be on the panel, they are reaching out to panel members now. So now is the time to get in your recommendations. The other panel is going to be more like internal county folks. We expect that 2 commissioners will sit in on the panel, on one of the panels. So if you are interested, please email Deputy Walsh and let her know that you're interested in sitting on the panel. It's going to be a full day sometime in January. We don't have an exact date yet, but it would be like starting at 8 a.m. You'd be here in person all day. You will get lunch provided by the county. Yes, or breakfast, I don't know. You'll get some sort of food provided by the county. And then you'll be there the whole day for interviews. They expect that a couple of things. They expect that they should be able to interview approximately 7 candidates at the panel interview. So right now, they are reviewing resumes and deciding who is going to proceed to the panel interviews. The full process for the day that the interviews happen, it's going to be conducted in one day, like we said. There will be a morning briefing with panelists where you'll learn what you are supposed to be asking questions on. You will then have 40 to 45-minute interviews per candidate. There will be pre-written questions from the county to ask so that all panelists are given the same treatment. And then the day would end with a debrief session where the panel members share their thoughts on the candidates. The interviews are not rigid. They would allow for some follow-up. So while there's pre-written questions, there would still be some allowance for follow-up. I think that is everything. Please email Deputy County Executive Walsh by December 19th if anyone on the commission is interested in serving on the panel.
Can I ask you a question real quick? What is the process for getting the community? So I've already had somebody reach out to me about this.
Yeah, I think we as the subcommittee came up with some names of people who we think would be good. We recommended them to the county HR department. The county HR department is then individually reaching out to people who they think would be good on the panel. So if you've had people reach out to you, it would be great to forward them on to the county HR department. They're looking for more suggestions.
Okay.
So any suggestions you have, please send them to them as soon as possible.
Okay, so can I do that through you, Lynn? Send their name to you and then you get it to them? Okay.
Absolutely. I'm
All
happy
right.
to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, Commissioner McInerney.
Yeah, approximately how many applications have they got?
You know, I was hoping to actually have that to say today, but I don't think we know yet.
Yeah, I don't have that information.
We can't, like, 100, 1,000, we don't.
We did discuss, so we asked for that number and maybe we'll have it for you next month. I think we haven't gotten it from the HR department yet. We haven't met since it closed. So that may be why we haven't heard yet.
So it has closed.
It closed on, it was scheduled to close on Sunday. So I believe it, yeah, it was scheduled to close on the 7th. So I believe it's closed.
They get a sufficient number to go through the process. They didn't.
Yeah, so we do not know yet. We haven't heard from the recruiting team yet. But what we did talk about at our last meeting was that if there was not a sufficient candidate pool, they would not just proceed. We would open it up for more.
Okay.
So.
And you said the subcommittee recommended names for the committee?
We did like a brainstorming session on community member names for the committee. We've been asking for a couple of meetings now for the rest of you also to provide names. So now is the time if you have names to provide.
And what type of names were you proposing? I don't need to understand who you proposed.
Yeah.
More like what type of people are we promoting for this for this role? We haven't really talked about that. You said if you know people.
Yeah.
But who would be good on it and for
Yeah.
a role like this? And just
No,
curious.
thank you for that. I appreciate that. I talked about it in detail, so I appreciate that I didn't explain that well enough here. So a handful of things. We're looking at community-based nonprofits in the area, especially that serve places like the Canal, Marin City, East Marin, or like with my East and my West, with West, that serve West Marin. We are also looking for people who serve on like lived experience panels, people, what else? Is there anything else, Sarah, that I'm missing?
I think we just wanted to get like a diverse group
Yes.
of people. So like people that represented different parts of Marin, different background, different, so it wasn't any particular like, oh, this person from here. We just wanted a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
People who serve in like community advocacy roles, like things like that. So if you have suggestions, I mean, the idea is for it to be people who would be directly affected by either the IG or by the sheriff's office who can serve on this panel and have a good sense of what an IG should be qualified to do in this role.
And then who is, and I'm sorry if you said this already.
That's okay.
Who's selecting the panel?
The
Is
county
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 executive?
HR department will be, I don't know, I guess if it's the county executive or the HR, I think it's HR, the county's HR department, yeah.
Yes, it's a combination of the HR department and the county executive.
We did talk about at the last meeting that we prefer to have these panels in person. We feel like it's a better way to do
Yeah.
it. So part of it may honestly come down to who's available for the dates that we can make it work. I think there's a long list of people they're reaching out to who could serve on the panels. But part of it comes down to you need to commit to being in person at the county for a full day in January.
Thank you.
It's directed to the committee. We're not in discussion right now, but if you have any questions
No
for
more questions for me.
commission, yeah.
Well, I have
Sarah's on the
Yeah,
thing, so
I'm
she-
on the-
No, we're not, I'm saying,
Okay.
Well, no,
this
because
is about the
there's a
committee.
there's a change to when our next meeting is gonna be, and so are the interview panels gonna happen before our next meeting? Like, is there gonna be time for,
Oh,
yeah,
We can, I'll get back to you on that. Yeah, we're coming up on the holiday season really close. So why don't I connect with you, Vice Chair,
Okay.
about the next steps, and I'll check in with our Human Resources Department.
because I know we were trying to get a date to let commissioners know, because like Linda was saying, we want to have two, and we also want to have a third alternate
yeah.
for these interview panels. But if we don't even have a date of when the interviews are, and we're not going to be meeting until late January,
Yeah,
we need to get that communicated, so.
right. Well, we could maybe do it at the subcommittee level, right? And then it could be a one-directional email to the commissioners to inform them of who is chosen.
Okay, I think we just, like, commissioners that are interested in being a part of the panel, make sure you email Lynn to let her know, because it's not gonna be something that we discuss. Yeah. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that.
Done. All right, any other questions for the subcommittee?
Yes, pretty much you answered, well, some of your questions. I had the same, but you answered it. And I was curious on how many people had applied, and it's nationwide, and a little concerned about if people are nationwide, how would they know local issues? But that's what I guess the panel would ask those type of questions, because coming from Chicago is totally different than being in Marin County. And so in regards to some names to recommend, we would just send that to the Human Resources, not to Lynn.
You could
right?
send it to me, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Did you get your question answered, Commissioner? Okay. We are going to move to.
I see Commissioner.
We gotta assign her seating in the middle.
Yeah. Commissioner, thank
I
you.
just had a question. You mentioned that the interview questions would all be the same for the candidates, which is a great idea. who comes up with those? Will it be you all, or will it be the county, or with HR? Who comes up with those questions?
Yeah, my understanding is that HR will come up with the questions, but it is what the questions we had for them about this was it is flexible in that like you can ask follow-up questions, you can engage a little bit in discussion. They are 40 to 45 minutes per person, so it's not really long, but yeah, my understanding is HR comes up with those questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Robinette, for that question. All right, we're going to close out on this topic and go to public comment on this item, which is very important.
No.
Are we done?
Gonna finish all the reports and then we'll.
Oh, then we're going to do it. Okay, let's move on to training curriculum.
Okay, hi. It's me again.
Keep it rolling.
Okay, sorry, hold on. Okay, the training subcommittee, I believe, also met twice since the last time we met. We have gone through the ordinance language. That's what we focused on so far, to say the ordinance had laid out a pretty long list of things that they believe we should be trained on. We focused on kind of refining those training topics into more manageable units. We have 39 distinct training topics, so it's,
Oh my
it's
gosh,
quite a
that's not
lot.
gonna happen.
I know. So what we're focusing right now is narrowing it down into what we're calling phases. So what can we prioritize as phase one as things that we feel like we need to know before we can really start moving. And then we're also looking at different audiences, like what are things that we need to learn now as a brand new commission, and what are things that like when a new commissioner joins in 2 years from now or whenever, they will then also need to be trained on. So we're kind of coming up with those different lists. These are some of the general things that we think should be included as part of like an initial orientation. We're calling it an initial orientation sort of before the IG starts. They would be ethics, the Brown Act, which I believe many of us already did online, public records acts, the sheriff's office operations, including policies, procedures, case management, deputy training, and some of their key data points. An in-depth review of the ordinance, 3824, training about cognitive and implicit bias and oversight, and then an overview of civilian oversight of law enforcement in general, because I think some of us could use an understanding of what it is that we're supposed to be doing. So we've discussed offering training both in full commission meetings and then also some self-directed training that would be like a take-it-home video type of training, because we don't have that much time here to do 39 distinct trainings. So what can we do ourselves? We discussed designing a curriculum that would accommodate both the annual rotation of commission members as well as us as a new commission. And then we also expressed interest in reviewing some of the best practices from oversight bodies. So we are meeting again. Actually, I don't know that we have a meeting set yet.
Yes, we've been a little bit challenged in getting the next one scheduled, but hopefully soon we'll have a meeting on the books.
And I think that means I'm supposed to respond to her and tell her when I'm free. So that was a nice way of her saying that. So our next steps are that we need to include refining our list more, prioritize training more. And our hope is that we can have a proposal for the chair and vice chair to start including some training options when our agenda is light. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm trying to say this correctly. I don't want to be involved in 39 trainings. I've been on several commissions in my career. I do think that the most important ones, you know, renewal of the Brown Act to remind each other, but I feel like this busy work, honestly, and I'd rather be dealing with complaints and being out in the community than being sitting behind a computer doing trainings all day long when I have lots of experience doing this. And I'm speaking for myself. Others might want to do 39 trainings, and I you know, I'm just letting you know how do we find middle ground on this?
Yeah.
And do exactly what is required of us to do versus busy work.
So some of them, I think some of them are things like asking the sheriff's office to take us on a ride along. Like that's your individual discretion. So when we say 39, like I don't think it's us going to be sitting down doing 39 online trainings. We are trying to like group as much as we can. Sarah, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of the trainings, it's more like having the sheriff's office come in and telling us like how their procedures are when they book somebody or
So
something.
presentations are a part of your training
Yes.
curriculum?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like educational stuff, like
Got
different
it.
groups. Yeah.
Is the idea that they would do it here at
Mhm.
least? Okay. I
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, there's the things like ethics and Public Records Act, like those are, I think, are the more like the take home that you do by yourself at home, and the like principles of oversight that maybe we would get from NACOL. They have like an online video you can watch. Like that's, I think, things we would do more at home. Whereas like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of like us asking stakeholders like the sheriff's office to come in and present to us. That would be in person.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments? Commissioners, questions? Yes, Sarah.
I have something that I want to put out. If anybody like knows or has an idea of who might be good for these trainings, like I think one of them, we wanted to have like a professor or somebody from like a college come in and talk to us about
Yeah, there were some things in there also that I think part of this could also be the IG will train us on, depending on their background on who it is that we hire. So that, or not that the county hires, we're not hiring, but like for instance, I think that one was, there was a training topic included in the ordinance about us learning some details about criminal law.
Yeah.
Like basics of criminal law that we could have a professor come and talk to us about, or depending on who we hire for an IG, if they're an attorney, which I think that the posting calls for someone with a JD, maybe they could train us on it. Like it's those sorts of things.
I just wanted to put it out to the commission, like if you know of anybody who has any insight on anything, we're totally open to like
Yeah.
getting input on that.
Or if you happen to be, I know that Commissioner Chan is not here, but like he was a
criminal law.
prosecutor, like maybe, you know, like if you happen to have expertise, yeah.
I'm just.
Yeah. All right. Commissioners, any other comments on this topic? All right. Thank you. We're going to get to the meat and potatoes, community outreach and engagement.
Hey, great. Our subcommittee met on Thursday, November 20th, and we had a meeting scheduled for the week of December 1st, but it was canceled due to, Lynn had a family emergency. So we have to reconvene, and so we have some proposed dates that are coming up. At our November 20th meeting, we discussed a number of things. One, we talked about outreach to the community, what types of outreach we want to happen for each commissioner and each district, whether or not we will have listening sessions, forums, collaborating with local nonprofits and churches. Do we want newsletters and flyers? So I did draft something up, but we were not able to finalize that because two of our ad hoc committee members were not available. So we plan on discussing that again. But the whole idea is to build trust and strengthen our community relationships. We also discuss the types of complaints because we continually get complaints that come in, and how do we really want to handle the complaints? Personnel complaints regarding the conduct by the sheriff's office. What is the policy complaints? And I guess this overlaps with what we were discussing about the training curriculum, like presentations. What happens when a person make a complaint with the sheriff's department? What is that process? How long does it take? Who follows up with them? And especially, we want to have this in place before, that we would discuss with the Inspector General. We also discussed, we reviewed the ordinance, which outlines the future OIG complaint process, and it's going to require collaboration between the Inspector General and the Sheriff's Office. The subcommittee also discussed the importance of establishing a clear and transparent process for handling complaints. And then our next steps is to continue this work, developing a draft language to respond to the complaints, including templates for email responses and website contents. And we're just waiting for our next meeting to take place.
Thank you. Let's start on this end here. You have any comments? Okay, all right. Sarah?
I do. I know
If I could just remind you, this is for questions
Questions for
for the subcommittee members.
what I said?
Yes, thank you.
I'm asking, does she have any, we're going this way,
I remember at our last meeting, when we were discussing the adoption of the work plan, you had there was talk about some type of in-between time complaint process or gathering of complaints being established. And I'm wondering if that is gonna happen.
Yeah, it's in the works. It's just that two of our committee members were not available.
Okay.
So that's why we're gonna, discuss at our next meeting. But no,
Okay.
we haven't abandoned that at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Felicia.
Yeah,
Commissioner?
no, sort of along those lines, I mean, with
Yeah.
live example today, and I keep thinking about, and I appreciate the time that you guys, took to put together. I know it's not on the agenda, but we see things like this every meeting.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can't do anything right now, or can we? And I guess that's something that I throw back to the commission to think about. I'd love for us to be able to have something to do.
Get closer.
I'd love for us to be able to do something. I know it's tough. We don't have an IG. We're still a new committee. We're still writing up the freaking bylaws. So,
The
it's-
name of the committee.
yeah, right. So I get it, but to the extent that we have ideas on how we might be able to address some of these more, I mean, this one's particularly time sensitive. You have
Right.
a guy here who might lose his house, and I just feel like, we're here to try to serve the county. I'd like to try to do something, but I don't know what we can. And I keep, every time, like, there's a small break, I want to lean over to Dr. Fromer and say, what do we do about this?
Yeah.
So anyway, I just throw that out there for
We're gonna
discussion.
talk about it later.
I agree. I expressed that at our last committee meeting, ad hoc committee, and I expressed that to Lynn is we get these complaints and they just sit there and we're waiting, and that's not a good reflection, I feel, from our as commissioners here. We should have some type of response. Lynn reminded me that we have to still go by the ordinance. However, I would like to recommend, and when our next ad hoc commission meeting meet, that we come up with some type of response. We have to. We just can't keep saying we're waiting for the IG or, because it does concern me when we get this complaints and
Yeah,
the
I
other
mean-
ones, and they just sitting there.
That's right.
And now we're going into 2026. And we need to address that ASAP.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, there's negative ramifications for not addressing these, because what happens is
Yes.
we're not fully equipped yet, but to the extent we keep getting these and we don't do anything, you're gonna get a reputation for being, that committee, they don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And, the more time drags, and this is a long process, so we got to have something in between, I think.
Yeah. Can I ask a question, Stephen, now? Is that appropriate to do a question for you guys? So when this comes up, what is the county saying that we can do? Because, we want to have a special meeting. We want to deal with the stuff that's at hand right now. And that's what I asked you earlier, and this is appropriate to ask this question to the county. What can we do when we get a complaint that comes in, like this one just came in? What is in our wheelhouse to do something about it? Can we call the sheriff in tomorrow to talk to him about this? Why is this being adhered to? How do we address a specific complaint in this arena of trying to get things done right now?
So in general, the ordinance sets forth your duties and powers, and a lot of those duties and powers are tied to the Inspector General. So what we'd like to see from the commission is to develop how you're going to handle these issues when they come up. What is the immediate way that you're going to handle these things? You have to have duties in the ordinance that say that what you can do. You can review policies and procedures of the sheriff's department and issue recommendations. That's what the ordinance allows you to do. So you can develop how you want to do that for things like calling special meetings and things like that. You're still going to be limited to the oversight role that you have, and that involves reviewing policies and making recommendations.
And when you say make recommendations, can I do a letter from this commission to the sheriff tomorrow saying that we don't think you should do this action? And is that something like a recommendation like that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And is that something you guys can help me with, Lynn?
Shit, I got you.
I'm just asking. That's a question.
Yeah, can certainly try. Thank you.
Try.
I got you.
We'll do our best.
Okay.
I got you.
All right, that was just a question to kind of see the interim piece to going back to the subcommittee and When are you guys meeting next, Commissioner Gaston?
We just got some suggested dates today, so I just need to connect with the two others, Solange
Okay.
and, yeah, Lynn. Yeah, but I drafted up some responses and we just didn't get a chance to finalize it, but I do have some suggestions that I would like to submit, like ASAP. Would I submit it to Gina or to you?
Well,
Lynn?
the recommendation would need to come out of the commission, and then I would meet with once it's approved by the commissioners, then it would go to the full commission. We would meet with the chair and vice chair to put it on the agenda at an upcoming meeting.
So I would bring this to my ad hoc committee.
It would need to be, like a draft would need to be approved out of the committee. So a draft that all of the members of the committee, agree with, then that would be the draft, and then that would be the recommendation to go to the full commission. In order to put that on the agenda, I would take it to one of our agenda setting meetings with the chair and vice chair, and they would place it on the agenda at their discretion.
So we can have it for the next full commission meeting in January.
It just depends on if the subcommittee comes to a final decision about the draft response. Yes.
Okay.
I
I think we can do that.
So two separate things we're talking about. The recommendation I was talking about was something different. You're talking about the regular process to get through, that we're going to go through in January, have a recommendation that came from the committee.
Yes.
It's come to the full commission, and then we take it from there
Right.
with these interim steps before the IG comes on
We
board.
have to have some responses. I agree. We just can't keep looking at these and like, oh, we're waiting for an inspector general. It's just, it's not setting well with me.
And
at all.
Commissioner?
Yeah, no, so along those lines, if we're going back to the discussion that Chairperson Fromer just had with Lynn, so if we wanted to draft a letter on behalf of the commission, she can represent us and work with you to then,
So you're in the process of developing your bylaws on this, but
yes,
you can always write any letter you want as an individual.
okay,
You always maintain that. If you want to write on behalf of the commission and saying it's on behalf of the commission as a whole has to approve of the
I
letter.
see.
Correct.
I see.
So that's,
I see.
if you need a quick action, you can always write from yourself and saying, I'm a member of this commission, but speaking for myself, this is what I believe.
Just write it for you.
And then as a commission as a whole, remember you're part of a body and the body as a whole has to agree to something. So if you're going to say, I speak on behalf of the commission,
Mhm.
you need to make sure that the commission has approved that. Now you're
I'm very aware of that. I think the comment was that we would potentially host a special meeting, have a draft to present it to the, in a time manner, because we got to have a 24-hour notice that goes out for a special meeting, present it there. And then, hopefully it's in a time frame, but, it's up to this commission what we want to do. But as an individual, we definitely can write letters, all of us, on behalf of this issue to the sheriff. Is that correct, Stephen?
Correct.
All right.
I think I'd like to ask, we just got this dropped on us, right?
I haven't even read it. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get the process in my head of what we would do.
Yeah, I guess what I'd like to know is like, do we have any ability to hear more on complaints but in between meetings? And I know that we're still developing our complaint process, but until we've developed our complaint process, like what ability do we have to because it's not agendized tonight, like what ability do we have to say we want to get more information from both sides in the next week? Like, can we do that? Like, can we do that? And I guess I don't know who I'm asking, but
I think it's Lynn or Stephen. Can you answer a question maybe? Like, can we do our own, and I think she's asking, can we do our own investigations? Like, is that something you can in between meetings?
So we always have to comply with the Brown Act.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where you can act as an individual to request information. You have to be careful about sharing with and discussing with the majority.
Correct.
And so when you keep that consideration in mind, you can reach out and you can ask for information outside of the meetings when you're acting on your own, or maybe as part of a subcommittee or a small group of commissioners.
I also think that she was asking Commissioner McInerney,
Backner.
McInerney, did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay, McInerney, that between meetings, can we get information on complaints? Because this was just dropped on many of us tonight. I haven't even read this. I don't know how to fight for it. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. So since we got it tonight, I'm not in a position to say what I'm going to do because I haven't read this. But what if three others come in between meetings? How do we find out what those are? And is there any way for us to kind of see the complaints that you're getting? Because my understanding is, and this is not something that I noticed valid, but that this came to you and none of us got it to tonight. Shouldn't we have gotten some notice of complaints before this meeting?
Can I jump in with a follow-up question? Can our contact information be on the Civilian Oversight Commission page? Like, I think that would be like a reasonable way to, people go on the commission page and they're like, oh, I want to reach out to the commissioners and send them this. Like, you know what I mean? That
I'm
way.
not sure if I want
Yeah,
that.
I don't
but
think I
I
want
don't
that.
think I want that, but there should be a way for us to get them that way.
Because
too,
I
Sarah.
can't, because if I get it, I can't sit there and send it to everybody. 'cause
You can
that's
send
a
it to
violation
Lynn and ask her to send it to us.
of behalf.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
I had a
Hey,
question.
I don't know if go ahead, Tom.
So it sounds like, and again, like everyone else, I haven't read this, there's ongoing litigation that somebody filed about the Binford Road situation.
This item is not agendized. We can't talk about it.
Yes, I can ask a question about it.
About this item.
Generally,
Okay.
please. Just if
You
you
don't have
can
to get
maybe
snippy about
elaborate
it.
a bit about, are we able to even discuss matters that are subject to, that are ongoing, involving ongoing litigation? I want to get a sense of this going forward as a commission. Will we be able to, address complaints that are also subject to ongoing litigation against the county or the agency or something like that? So I want to get a sense of that.
So the county is a part of the litigation, and the
Yeah.
county council and the county is not going to be commenting on that, on the litigation. So for this particular matter, no.
Okay,
But
so
they
if a complaint comes in and it's also subject to litigation, there's ongoing litigation that relates to whatever the subject matter of the complaint is this commission able to conduct a oversight hearing or anything like that on it, or is it all like locked down because it's subject to litigation?
So the commission is going to have to develop a procedure on how to deal with that. The county council and the county executive is not going to be assisting the commission on those processes because they will not be able to participate because this is active, ongoing litigation.
Okay. And if there is kind of unrelated, kind of related to that, I think there's an impression that when complaints have come in, that nothing is happening in response to those complaints because everyone's waiting for us to do something. Is that actually what's happening? Or I just want to get a sense, like if someone's making a complaint against the sheriff's deputy or whatever, what's the process now for addressing those concerns? Like county counsel's office, are they involved? Is it all the sheriff's department? Is there the county executive's office? Want to get a sense of what's happening currently.
By statute, all complaints against the sheriff's office can be filed with the sheriff's office and investigated by the sheriff's office. That's the statutory process.
Okay.
So,
and is there within the sheriff's department, how is that handled then? Who conducts the investigations? Do we know, or is it an ad hoc decision making as to who investigates it?
I know that there's an established procedure for it. I don't have the particulars of the details. I know that the sheriff's department can answer that in detail.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But
Those are my questions.
Okay,
part of what we
hold
wanna
on,
be trained on.
hold on. Let me get some order here. I have Sarah, and then I'm gonna go down. I'll go down.
So I have a couple things. Oh man, I forgot one. But so we do as a commission have the ability to call for a special meeting where we could invite the sheriff's office or the county or whoever to come in and give general information, not anything specific about the lawsuit, but general information on, what are your policies and procedures for addressing people on Binford Road? Like we could have that and it wouldn't be against anything.
That is something that inviting the sheriffs to come and talk about topics is definitely something you can do.
But I'm saying like because this is somebody that it's freezing outside right now. it is freezing cold outside. Even just walking from the car in here, it's cold. And for somebody to be in a position where they're targeted and going to lose the only thing that they have to call home, and they're facing mental and physical health, like that's an urgent situation. That's not like, oh, let's schedule a time so you can come. No, that's like, we need to address that now. That was brought to our attention. And it warrants a special meeting in my mind.
So you have to understand that the county has a position, there's active litigation on this, and that you have you have one side of the story, but the active litigation is going to address these issues, and the county's going to put forth their position there.
All right, then I'm gonna move down to Commissioner.
Um,
You're good, Felicia?
Okay. God, I kind of got a little lost there, but I do believe that we have had several complaints since we have been appointed on this commission, and they're just sitting there. And we do need to respond. And just a simple, like, I hear you, thank you for contacting us. We're in the process, but something to say, we hear you, and we have some language that I just need to bring to my ad hoc committee to bring to the commission, and would love this to happen before the next full commission meeting. I mean, that's just my statement, but we do need to respond. I do not want to go into 2026 and we have this complaint and other complaints, and there are some concerns that people have too. It's not just about complaints, it's just some concerns. And we do need to be responsive to the public.
So I thank you, Commissioner. To Tom's point, do we assume that the Sheriff's Department has not responded in any way to these individuals? I mean, you know.
Yeah, so when we receive these, they go into my inbox, and then I, package them up, and get some county council eyes on them, and then they go to you. I'm not aware of how they are being processed at the sheriff's office. That's not under my purview to inquire.
Training.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
Get that on the curriculum.
Thank you.
Get on that.
All right, we are,
Lynn has
we have a question? Hi, Commissioner Robinette.
It's possible to have an alias email, isn't there? Like for those, an inbox for the complaints, so that we could all get them without it having our email addresses on there, right?
It is possible to have an alias. Having it sent directly to you, I'm not sure if we can do that per the Brown Act, because then anyone could send communications. You could send communications to each other, and we wouldn't know. So I would just be cautious about that. I understand the spirit of the question of how to have these communicated to you. The practice so far has been, I receive them, I bundle them, and then once a month they go to you for your consideration prior to the commission meeting. So that is the process right now. It is a process that I invented because I didn't know what else to do, and it was the kind of the lowest rung on the ladder of many different options that I felt appropriate to do. But how these get processed and how they get referred to you, that could be, I would appreciate your advice, maybe not here, but maybe we could agendize it, or it could be a subcommittee topic.
That's
potentially a need for a complaints subcommittee, since this is right now, it's with the community outreach and engagement. Just that initial, hello, we've received your email. That was an outreach piece. So, but then how they get processed, that's kind of a different question. So I'm just reflecting back what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Okay. I'd recommend, rather than starting another working group, that it stay within the one that exists, and we do it there.
Noted.
All right, yes.
I know that you invented this process, but is it the correct understanding that once we have an IG, which I know it feels like the spring is pretty far off, but it's a handful of months, that complaints would go to them, not to you, and then they would start investigations if they feel they should? Like, they're a full-time working person, they would start investigations and could let the chair know if we needed a immediate meeting before our next scheduled meeting at that time. Like, that could we're in like a process right now that is not a permanent process, but that could be what we move towards.
So the ordinance has a process, it's called the OIG complaint process. And
Yeah.
it very clearly lays out the steps once the Inspector General is in place.
Yeah.
For personnel complaints, right, about sheriff's misconduct, there is a process where they would take in those complaints, they would make sure they were complete, and then the process, as it's outlined in the ordinance, is to then give it to the sheriff's office for them to conduct their internal investigation.
Okay.
And then after that, it would come back, the completed investigation, the completed complaint would come back. At that point, if the Inspector General wished, they could bring it to the full commission, just say, this has been completed. And if the commission felt that it was not sufficient, then it could go back to the sheriff's office for additional work and consideration, and then come back to the Inspector General. And at that point, if the Inspector General and the commission felt that it was still inadequate, then an independent investigator could potentially be hired to conduct an investigation. So that is all outlined in the ordinance under the OIG complaint process. So definitely encourage, I know the ordinance is not riveting reading, but for folks that are concerned about the process, that is what is outlined in the ordinance.
No, thank you.
I just have another comment is that we just still need to have a response to people, period. And that has to come out of our ad hoc committee. We just need to have a response to say, we hear you, we received it, and whatever the next step is before the IG.
Yes, and we have a couple drafts. We have Commissioner Gaston's draft. I also prepared a draft with Deputy Attorney, Rob. He reviewed it. And so we have another draft that we're reviewing as well. And it,
Sounds like we just need time to get this stuff done. And I think that you're right, having a committee meeting, getting the stuff recommended. We only 4 months in, so we knew when we started this process that we're gonna be, complaints don't stop because we start, right? So we need to give ourselves time we need to give ourselves time to get this thing done right. And if there's like a boilerplate, we can send people as we get it, so they can just be aware that the IG, whatever that boilerplate is, let's send it out. We create our process.
Yeah.
I don't want us to feel like the county is constantly overseeing everything that we do. We are the Civilian Oversight Committee, and we need to be able to have some sort of, I'm not gonna say power because that's the wrong word, but some authority in doing what we were asked to do. And that is responding to people from the public who have complaints. This particular complaint, which is not agendized, but complaints can be about staff, or it can be just about issues.
Yeah.
And, if they're about staff, they need to go where they're supposed to go. If they're about issues, and we also get those as well. But I think we've wasted a lot of time on this issue. Let's take it to subcommittee. Let's get these meetings done.
Okay.
And then, how about the boilerplate stuff? So you can start working on that so we can at least have a response. And you and I can work together on that. And me and the vice chair, we can work on something that goes back immediately. Just acknowledge, just respect for Marin County residents.
It works. We do.
Okay, good. So I'm excited about that.
On that.
If there are no more comments, I'm going to move to the Bylaws Committee, which is another important committee, and the Code of Conduct Committee.
All right, real quickly here. The Bylaws Code of Conduct Subcommittee met on Thursday, November 20th. We discussed various changes to the bylaws. It's sort of an evolving document. And I just recall, we're going to focus on the bylaws part first, and then we'll go to Code of Conduct. So we're still on the bylaws part. And, I've got the two lawyers on my committee, so there's a lot of discussion. Okay, so we started with clarifying sort of the ordinance language with citations, refine some of the sections related to commissioner removal, vacancies, resignations, kind of drafting that language, establish clear expectations for commissioners' duties, including things like attendance requirements. And again, when this is all done, we'll of course present it so we can all discuss the actual material in it, but we're trying to come up with what we think makes the most sense. We moved some sections with respect to conduct and decorum at the meetings over to the Code of Conduct section. So we're just sort of, putting it all together and getting it. But I think we made some good progress. We had to, because of a cancellation, we had to move the next meeting. So we are going to do another meeting here as soon as we can. We did get some draft language from Cami McElhiney. She's kind of a consultant helping us out, and she provided some bylaws from other oversight groups. The deputy county council and members of the clerk of the board team have reviewed the bylaws and have provided us feedback. So again, it's still kind of a living, breathing document, but I think we're, we're getting there. So our next meeting is to be determined.
We're going to go to discussion. Commissioners, questions?
How, because I know that you guys were gonna get like a template kind of bylaw thing. Are you guys making a lot of revisions to that? Like, is this gonna be our own or is it kind of standard?
Yeah, no, a lot of the, bylaws a lot of the stuff comes directly from the ordinance. So from that perspective, it's sort of, it's boilerplate because it was already predetermined. But there are some things in there like, when we talk about things like commissioner duties or attendance, we're looking at other examples from other places and we're all discussing what we think makes sense. And then we're putting in something, but we're also annotating it like for discussion for the broader group. So it's a combination. I'm not going to say it's not all original material, but it's, it's derivative.
Okay.
Any other questions? Commissioners? I do want to publicly thank Lynn for the hours of work on this and the templates, to get us through. Once they're done, they're done. And so I would just want to say thank you, Lynn, for supporting this. And I know Stevens had eye on them. I looked at them, they look pretty, standard and also yet customized for our commission. So I'm really wanting to get this done. The next meeting, let's put a stamp on it, bring it to commission and on the 22nd, and let's get it done. I'm hoping that we can have a final draft by then. I was one of the commissioners that backed out of the meeting. I think I had a conflict or something, so I'm hoping we can get this done. Any other comments on the bylaws and code of conduct? All right, let's close out this item. And I'm going to, yes?
Public comment.
No, I'm going to close out the item. Can you stop being in my ear?
Right.
I love it. Close out this comment and go to public, close out this item and go to public comment right now.
If I'm going to stay up past my bedtime, I'm going to give public comment. On
That's
the
right,
item.
girl.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here. I'm sure you all had a hard day at work and then came here at night. I know that can be a really long day. Thank you for your work on the committees. I'm excited about things moving forward. I did have some questions about the IG and who's developing the questions. It seems like that's a more like the county has never had an IG. So, and I heard Cammie's name come up in the bylaws from NACOL. So maybe they have some best practice questions to ask IG candidates that we might be able to tap into. I'm happy that she's helping with the bylaws and agree that they can be, there's the template and then they can be a little bit more specific for things you all want to be up to. For the training, I think it would be exciting if there are ways to collaborate with the committee in San Rafael. Like if you want to bring in like a consultant, they were talking about Dr. Jennifer Eberhardt, who wrote the book on bias and has studied bias in policing. So if you all could collaborate and go to training together with another advisory group, I think that would be cool. When we were working on this, we said, let's make Marin County the first county that has oversight for all of their local law enforcement agencies. So if you could work on that too, that would be awesome. I feel your pain around the community engagement and the complaints. Like this really is about hearing how the community is experiencing a group that has sworn to protect and serve. Do they feel protected? And that safety is being provided to them. And in instances where that doesn't line up, how can you all work in partnership with community and the sheriff's office to write that? So that sounds great. And I would also be really stressed out that I was getting complaints with nothing to do about them. So completely support sending something out, letting people know what's going on. Thank you again for all your hard work.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, anybody online?
Yes, the first speaker is Stephen Bingham. Please unmute.
Hello again. I had one comment about the complaint process. With all due respect to the great work that Lynn is doing. I'm very disturbed when she says that she's bundling all the complaints and sending them out to members once a month. It seems to me that given that some complaints might be urgent, that they, it may be a little extra work, but that they should be immediately forwarded. And I also think that the sheriff's office or her office should ask, indicate to complainants that if they want to be contacted possibly by a member of the commission before the inspector general is hired, they can indicate that. Seems to me there's no legal reason why individuals on the commission could not reach out to complainants to have a discussion and figure out if there's something that could be done or some kind of advice, because having all the commissioners in place with absolutely no role to play, and we're talking maybe 6 to 8 months before there's an inspector general in place, you have to have some kind of intermediary procedure that allows commissioners to be involved in the complaint procedure without it necessarily being the formal thing that the inspector general does. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
The next speaker is Eva. Please unmute.
Yeah, thanks. I wonder if any of the training that you guys are doing actually bothers to take a look at where any oversight group has actually succeeded, because what we're seeing is oversight being placed everywhere, and it's not actually making progress. What you're getting is regression. So you're seeing more deaths in county jails where oversight is implemented. And then, just watching this meeting and this kind of falderall with the complaints being bundled and left for a month and sprung on the commissioners right before the meeting. This is just not very surprising if you tried at all to follow the progress of the working group. It's a repeat, and it's bizarre. It's theater. And I would like to point out that, Stephen Robb knows better than to have me cut off, and the chair should have fought that. That was a violation of the Brown Act. I was making a completely accurate and relevant statement about the lack of transparency, not only in this process, but in the prior process, and what Mr. Robb is demonstrating, and what the commissioners are demonstrating by cutting me off and violating the Brown Act on the fallacious claim that it was derogatory to make an accurate statement about something that the commissioners, that the working group themselves should have disclosed, and in fact, that the county should have disclosed. I had to work very hard. I had to run multiple CPRAs just to get the information about those conflicts of interest. I had to run them in other counties in some cases. So this is, I think, it is fair to say that this process is a joke. The commissioners know they're participating in a grift, a distraction from actually doing the things they're assigned to do, or,
Eva,
supposedly
thank you.
assigned
Your
to
comments
do.
are noted, and there was never any intention to cut you off. I think the comment was disparaging remarks, and this is a place for respect and honesty, as you stated. So we want to make sure everybody's voice is heard, and yours is just heard. We appreciate you. Your comments are noted. Thank you. Any other public comment?
There are no more speakers in the queue.
All right. We are done, I believe. 7 is adjourned, the meeting. That concludes our agenda for today.
Chair Frommer,
Yes.
so after public comment, typically there's a discussion, so just be a quick
I feel like
check
we
to
were just
see if
all
there's
in
discussion.
Any other comments on the committees? Any other discussion? Closing that out. And I just want to say, if there's any commissioner that didn't feel heard tonight, that was never intentional. And, getting snippy at each other is not something that we need to be doing. There's levels of respect that need to happen all across the board, and this is not easy work. And so on this commission, we're not lawyers. We are community. And we need to treat each other with respect and like we're community. And that's how I think we should be doing as chair of this commission. I want to make sure our voices are heard with each other, and we're here to hear and listen to our community. And that's what it's about. And once we get going, though, I know this is going to be great. Bylaws done, everything done, complaints process in. We're going to be on a roll, Stephen, and we're going to be waiting for. We're going to be hard to stop. So I just want to say thank you for happy holidays, and I look forward to the committee meetings to come up. And I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make it. Let's adjourn this meeting.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Robinette and Commissioner Lee. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Meeting adjourned.